Would marriage have saved Diddy from getting arrested? Grab your stick, grab your drink. Let's get into this thing right now. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming at you live and direct, and you know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the real cigar Jeff. Y'all do me a favor. Get down in the description, man. Follow us on the social. Get the links. Get the merch. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn that bell for notifications. We know y'all gonna get down in the comment section for us and let us know what y'all think about this. Our topic tonight is would marriage have saved Diddy from getting arrested? Y'all know we did the life lessons on the last podcast. This Diddy thing still hot. I know he going for another attempt at bail at the time of this recording. We don't know the outcome of that. So, if the outcome changes on that, we'll do that next week on a later podcast. But guys, my dog is in the building, of course, and she sent me some stuff. And whatever I had playing, once Rhonda sent me this and said, Jeff, let me know your thoughts on this. I said, we got to do this on the podcast. But before we get into it, guys, I got to introduce my resident legal and relationship expert.
No.
Let's introduce herself. Tell y'all what she's sipping on before we jump right into this thing.
First of all, I'm not a legal expert, but thanks for having me. And ain't the other thing you said either, but I couldn't hear it because I'm full of fire, guys. But thanks for having me back tonight. I'm sipping. I'm feeling a little sad. I got my McDowell's shirt on.
Y'all see the McDowell's shirt, man.
It's
everybody go get something from McDonald's today. Don't get no seeds in the buns.
So I had to go with an oldie but goodie, my rum haven.
Oh, got the rum haven, okay.
And my pineapple juice.
Okay.
And my pineapple juice.
Okay.
I may be topping it off throughout the call because I'm in mourning.
Don't say, look. That sounds like something they be playing with the Diddy. That sounds like something they say like the
No, we don't do no Diddy drinks, and we don't do no.
Appreciate you being here. Y'all know me, man. I'm smoking my bundle. I apologize, guys. I'm just getting in from being in Orlando all day. Shout out to my manager, Jay, over there. We went a little long, stuck in traffic on I-4, but we had to come on and give y'all this content. Got my bundle still. I'm smoking. As y'all can see, I'm drinking out of the merch. Are you really a fan if you don't have the merch? Tell me what you think about that. It's just click on the merch link, man. You'll see the mug in there. I am drinking spicy margarita tonight. Tanteo spicy tequila. When I saw it back there in the bar, I'm like, man, I ain't had no Tanteo in a while. If y'all want a spicy margarita, make sure you get on that Tanteo.
It's better than on the rocks. It's
better than on the rocks because I'm mixing this myself.
That's a lie.
Y'all, she already on it. She done had Five Guys. Y'all know how it is when she get Five Guys.
Literally, I stopped at 6:30.
Me and Rhonda been rolling today, but we got to come on because I appreciate y'all watching the life lessons on Diddy, man. Appreciate everybody who reached out to me, man, talking about that podcast and some of the things we said.
Oh, okay.
Rhonda and I, man, we just coming up here talking, and even though it's entertainment purposes only, if some of this stuff resonate with y'all, man, we just glad we can be some guidance. Right, we just doing it for entertainment purposes, but y'all watch that Life Lessons one, and man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm glad y'all had a chance to see some of the stuff. Rhonda had some good stuff. I think I had some good stuff, and when she sent me this about this Instagram, I'm gonna show you guys. I said we got to talk about this, but Rhonda, before we get into the Instagram, when you sent me that topic, what was going through your head?
This better not become a podcast. But here we are.
She fooled you. She mourning over. She mourning over John Amos. The Kinvaden died. Pete Rose died. Guys, it's a little tough out there for us right now. Randy don't care about Pete Rose. But what I'm saying to you is, guys, we ran around a little bit. So, again, guys, go to McDonald's, get you that Big Mac, no seeds. Just go and ask them. They can't make it. Yeah, ask them for the Big Mac. They can't make it. Right? Hold on 1 second, Ron. Hold on.
Okay.
I know we were live, but hold on 1 second. I gotta do something since John Amos died.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, y'all just hang in there. I don't know what he doing, but this what we do. We live and direct in this case. But yeah, shout out to John Amos, man. And like, dang, 2024 been rough. 2024 been like, hey, you think it's been bad? Let me show you how much more worse it's gonna get. So it's no telling what he's gonna bring back to show us on this podcast. But here we are. And yes, we are live. So y'all stay in. Don't go nowhere. He gonna be back in a second for us to get this thing started. And then we'll see what happened with this topic. Since I'm so unprepared. I sip on my drink while he go. And that's why he's in charge of the podcast. And I'm not.
Guys, he's the benefit of having a studio at home.
That's tight. I like that. I like that.
Shout out to the Real Cigar King, man. She got this funny for one of my golf tournament.
Oh,
But
okay.
I had to put on my McDonald's hat.
Okay. No, I like that. That's cool.
If Ronnie
That was worth the pause. I said some stuff. You're gonna find out what it is when you watch back.
Guys, go to McDonald's tonight, guys. I'm putting on my McDonald's golf hat.
Yeah. Home with the
Yeah,
Big
go
Mick.
get the big Mick, man. Yeah. Yep. I'm on lettuce, but I'm gonna be on fries, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
Oh my Lord.
So, Ronnie, you said that you ain't gonna do a podcast, but after that, what did you think? Guys, I'm showing y'all what Ronnie sent me. I'm gonna show y'all what Ronnie sent me, and then we're gonna get into this thing. But go ahead, Ronnie.
No, man. I didn't. Again, I think I'm just over this idea of everybody having to be married. I ain't jealous.
Okay.
I ain't envious. None of that mess. But it's like, so it's okay he does all this stuff, long as he married.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if you trifling, long as you married. It's okay that you're a pedophile. Cover that mess up. Get married. So I said, I'm just. We see your hat. We
Yeah, I had to
we
take a
see
picture.
we see your hat. So I think
Yeah.
I'm just over it, and I think it's just, okay, let's just let this woman be oblivious to let him do whatever deeds, or for her to know what he got going on, and still be like, oh, okay, well at least he's married, he loves the Lord or whoever he loving, and like, but yeah, let's go ahead on and commit these crimes because it's very
Okay.
clear people who are married get treated differently than people who are not.
Wow. And now, Ronnie, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When I asked Ronnie what she think, y'all got to probe a little bit more. Cause Ronnie give you the first answer because she don't want to answer it and she don't like y'all like that. But then I got to ask the follow up. Right? So I'm gonna tell y'all when Rhonda sent it to me, I said, "Oh my god!" Once again, marriage is used for manipulation instead of its original intent. Right? So you want somebody to marry Diddy, but not stop what he's doing, but just be a cover for what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, this right here would make. Now we're gonna go through this, guys, but I want y'all to look at what Dr. Umar said on this Instagram clip. But me and Rhonda are under the impression that this just would have made it worse. Marriage would have made it worse. But I want y'all to listen to this clip. It's 3 parts. For all my Spotify listeners, it's going to be linked. All my YouTube listeners, it's going to be down in the description. But I want to go ahead.
Followed him, but I don't follow him on Instagram.
Well,
So.
it wasn't on his page. This was somebody else's page that you sent
okay.
me. So
right,
let me go.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have that.
So we gonna share this, guys, and I got to refresh your screen. So here we go, guys. Let's listen to this real fast. Here we go. Can you see that, Ron?
Yes.
To get at whatever little is left of his empire after he's convicted, if he's convicted. I don't think he wants to leave his children in this world defenseless like that with the kind of enemies he got black and white. I don't think he wanted to do that. Now, I can see the power structure falsely claiming that he's on suicide watch if God forbid they try to take him out of here. I'm concerned for the safety. More than I am worried about a potential suicide. And let me tell you the mistake Puff made. That Jay-Z did not make. And I am not accusing Jay-Z of anything. I want to be clear. But let's say hypothetically, if Sean Carter had any skeletons in his closet, one of the most effective things he did to clean up them skeletons and seal off those skeletons art, he got married and created a family. One thing you see Caucasian men do, Art, they might be cross-dressers, they might be homosexuals, they might be pedophiles, they might be murderers. What do all white males in the public eye do to make sure they're protecting their image legally and publicly? They get a wife and they have children. They build family. Look at them. Every last one of them build a wife. They might marry a prostitute, but they are going to have a wife and they are going to have children because it protects their public image from the types of accusations that Sean Combs has. You cannot underestimate innocent or guilty. That is the one thing Sean Combs should have learned. It's a lesson he should have learned, and he learned too late. Get married, build family. And I'm not saying Sean Carter only married Beyonce for that. I'm not saying. I believe he loved his sister. T.I. and Tiny been together since the beginning, so we know that wasn't a Hollywood marriage. That's real black love right there. I'm simply saying, if you're going to be out here doing the things that Puffy does, get your a wife and build a family. He had the children, Art, but he didn't have the wife.
All right. Now, guys, when Rhonda sent me that, I said, we got to put this on the podcast. We got to put this on the podcast. Guys, when I heard Dr. Umar, and one of the things y'all got to understand, we talk about relationships on this podcast a lot. But now he just literally told him, I ain't gonna play the clip from Charlamagne the God saying the same thing. Charlamagne the God said the same thing a while back. That Diddy should have gotten married, and it would have stopped him from wanting to do this. What y'all need to understand is marriage don't stop you from doing nothing. He just told you, Dr. Umar just told you, marriage allows you to hide a lot of things that people would judge you on. Okay? So for all of y'all who using marriage thinking that it's going to stop a person from doing something, no. The person uses marriage to hide the things that wouldn't be approved if they were not married. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think after you listen to it again.
Look, that's why I sent it to you for you to talk about, right? Because I'm trying to make it make sense, like for real. I'm trying to make it make sense. But you have heard stories of people like, especially if they're active in the community or are relevant in the community, leaders of churches, all that kind of stuff, ministers of music, whatever title you want to give somebody. There's a level of reverence for them on certain levels. And so here you go and you get married only to molest your children or to have, to be a philanderer or whatever, like to do all of those things, but all under the but and people will be like, oh, but he's married. Like he wouldn't do that or she wouldn't do that. But no, it is. If anything, it's no different than somebody being a preacher's kid. We knew they were the worst kids that could tell you and show you how to do everything that you didn't even know you knew how to do. But they love the Lord. Right? And so I think you do get a pass when you are married because people automatically don't think that you can do that. Like they don't think that you would do something horrible or do something crazy or outlandish, especially at the height of it. And it does seem like sometimes you get got after the deeds have been done for a long, long time. It just sounds like allegedly in Diddy's case that he was still doing it up until the day he did get arrested. So I think that's one of the few differences with other people. But when you see that happening and then you just slap marriage on it, like, hey, being married makes it okay. At least I'm a family man. Or we shouldn't be hard on them. What about the kids?
Ooh.
Right?
Y'all notice that he said that now. Dr. Umar said he did the kids. He had the kids.
Yeah.
He had the kids, guys. This like, guys, let me tell you this. When I heard this track, when I heard that reel on Instagram, the first problem I got, and last week we talked about life lessons. after I watched this track, okay, I'm gonna say this to y'all, and I don't want this to come across as racist, but we're a little bit deep into the podcast, so hopefully YouTube won't give me a strike on this. Don't listen to black people teach you about white people.
Well, who we gonna
If
listen
you if you want to learn how white people do things, just ask them. They'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
See, Dr. Umar is telling y'all what white people do. Show me the white people that Dr. Umar is talking to. Now, I'm liking Dr. Umar. But at the end of the day, guys, I got to tell y'all, this is marriage is not meant. And y'all can go look. I was going to pull up the Kurt Franklin and Cam Newton Funky Friday interview. When Cam Newton asked Kurt Franklin about marriage, and Kurt Franklin said, people think marriage washes away sin. No, marriage is going to expose it more. So when Dr. Umar is talking about what white people do, the problem I got with this, guys, is the best thing for Diddy is that he's single. Now, y'all understand a spouse can't testify against their spouse in a court of law. That's one of the benefits of marriage.
Is that all states or some states?
Yeah, that's the benefit of marriage. You can't ask the spouse to testify. If the spouse says, I'm not going to testify against them, you can't compel them to testify against the spouse. Okay? Now, child can testify against parent. Parent can testify against child. But the spouse cannot be compelled to testify. And that's really where Dr. Umar was going with it. But Rhonda said something, guys. Diddy still would have to let the wife know, this is everything I'm doing. And if you marry me, you got to be okay with it. And you got to know this is just a part of our relationship. Right? Now, he got to be
or he had it from
him. I don't see how you can hide this.
I don't know.
See, I don't know how you can hide it because I think Kim Porter.
I think some women would turn it. Well, yeah, it was happening to her allegedly.
Kim Porter allegedly. Say that, Rhonda. Say allegedly.
I said allegedly.
Okay. I'm talking over. I hear you. So Kim Porter knew, Cassie knew, Young Diana knew. All the women that he was documenting with.
No, she said she met him in his love era. He was Brother Love then. She don't know nothing.
But guess what, guys? Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah. But at the end of the day, these copycat cases that have come out, she's implicated in it, guys. So one of the things I think that's happening is, I think the best thing for Diddy is that Diddy wasn't married, because the spouse would have been taken down too. See, right now, Diddy just trying to keep his children out of this. Can you imagine if he had a wife? And the wife gonna go down too.
Well,
so what do you? Yeah, go ahead.
As she should.
Go ahead, bro.
If
the allegations are true.
Okay. Yes.
If the allegations are true. We got to say that. We got to say that. We got to say that up here.
You said it. You said it enough for the both of us.
Rhonda, let me tell you where I'm going, and then you jump in there and tell me what you think. Jeffrey Epstein had Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what Dr. Umar is saying is, if Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were married, she could have protected her. That's really what the content is. That's really what the context is. What you think about that?
Listen, I don't even know what's going on with her, but allegedly, I don't even know if she was found guilty or not. But allegedly, she was just as ruthless as he was. That's what I'm saying, man. Women can be master manipulators at things too. Mm-hmm. People already, their guard is already down. When it comes to not suspecting a woman to be just as hardcore as a man in that particular situation, but I don't know which woman on this earth that would have been equipped for what allegedly Diddy did. Okay. I don't know what type
of... to all the audience out there that's watching this and people on Spotify, that was hard for Rhonda to say the word allegedly, so I'm proud of her. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord. But it is allegedly. You don't want to beat nobody when they down, but at the same time, it's like, you're trying to get an understanding. So the only way you come to understanding is by talking things out and having a conversation with people, right?
Yes.
And so, come at you if you want, I don't give a dog on. But that's just part of talking it out. Like, at the same time, do I want Diddy to be fully represented? But I also know if allegedly these things were done, I want the victims to be, get some type of justice as well.
Compensated, get their justice, all that, guys, right? But what I think y'all got to understand, Rhonda and I spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about relationships, right?
All the time. Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the reason why we say this, I think it was all of y'all who are out there married, all of y'all who are out there married, all of us who are married, right? You got to understand that some people use marriage to hide things. Some people use marriage because they want to capitalize on the fairy tale. Some people use marriage because, hey, I want to have kids, and it's religious based, it's tradition based. But Dr. Umar told you guys using marriage as a way to hide behavior. And again, guys, I've never heard anybody say it. To get married so you can justify your
But it makes
behavior.
complete sense. It makes
But it
complete
makes
sense.
complete sense, guys.
Mhm.
So when we asked the question, would being married had stopped Diddy from being arrested? Now, honestly, we can't ever know that. But I can tell you like this: when you're a billionaire like Diddy, before he sold Ciroc, before the Cassie situation blew up, what woman is gonna tell Diddy, no, you need to stay home tonight? Diddy, you need to stop that. Because more than likely that woman gonna be on his payroll too.
He be like, here go that baby oil, get to work. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Get right. So that's what y'all got to understand. The person you marry is going to be the person who helps implement things further, who helps implement things at a higher level.
No, and they have to be an accomplice.
Yes,
whether it's legal or
Bonnie
not.
Clyde.
Like your spouse is your accomplice with everything that you do. To put it, just to use that particular word, doesn't mean you have to be doing something bad.
Absolutely.
Because your spouse will enhance whatever you do have going on, good or bad.
Guys, I want to tell y'all, I remember when I started going to church and I'm reading these scriptures, and I'll never forget one of my favorite scriptures. One will set 1,000 in flight, two will set 10,000 in flight. The reason I'm disagreeing with Dr. Umar, Diddy would have got caught sooner if he was married, because it would have been so blatant if he had a woman that was riding with him like that legally. Okay, that's what you got to understand now.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the woman. I think if that woman, if they had kids and Diddy touched the kids or tried to bring them in, it's okay for somebody else's children, just not my children. I think it's a lot of people, women that would like, hey, to cover things up. Maybe I watched too much Lifetime and too much Oxygen, because I do.
Mhm.
That's my business. And like when you see when you see the shows, they did one of those stations did the girl on the milk carton, and I remember as a little girl seeing the kidnapped kids and stuff with the missing children on the milk carton, and that wife of that killer, like, she knew it. Took her a long time to prove it, but she knew it. But he was also beating her, like it was a domestic violence situation.
Absolutely, guys.
You know what I'm saying?
Now stop right there. Stop right there, Rhonda, because that's what I'm talking to you about. Once a domestic violence case comes in, she can now testify against you. Okay? So when y'all look at who victim number one is, who's the only victim of this Diddy indictment, okay? Now, again, allegedly, that victim number one is Cassie. She's the only victim, which is why they're trying to tell everybody else, if you're a person who's been victimized by Diddy, come forward. Because they know if it only stays with one victim, what happened with Cassie on that video is outside of the statute of limitations, whether federal or state. Okay? They need some other people to beef this thing up. I'm telling y'all right now, I think that's why Diddy was so hurt when J-Lo left. I think J-Lo, my opinion is, I think J-Lo was going to be that one that he married and really help take it to the next level. J-Lo was at the parties too, right?
And she's like, my booty hole, what? No, I'm out. Allegedly. Oh, I can't say booty hole.
No, you can say right now. So I think, Ronnie, one of the things that's happening is, for everybody who out there thinking that marriage is some spiritual thing, we have to remember there's two things involved in marriage: religion and government. Your marriage is not between the two of you. Your marriage is between the religious tenets and the government.
Well, it's so transactional. It sounds very transactional.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
But how is it that we could play both sides of it then? On one hand, we're saying that, oh, it's covered under God. It's in the Bible. You cleave to your spouse. You know, all these things, right? But then on the flip side, like, you gotta have it in writing. You gotta have it ordained. You gotta have it, whatever you want to call it, for marriage to also be that. But I also gotta love you. So is it transactional?
Well, Rob, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad y'all gotta understand, if you using your marriage from a biblical perspective, Marriage in the Bible meant property ownership because in the Bible, women were considered property or spoils of war. Okay? That's the way this thing worked when it came to marriage. They were property or spoils of war. Abraham had Sarah. Abraham won Sarah when he was Abram. Then he became Abraham. Okay? One of the things we have to start understanding, you gotta understand, anybody who got married with a pastor, he don't pull out the Bible to read those vows. He pulled out a separate book. Because the vows you took are not in the Bible. Those vows are whatever your religious tenets are. They pull out a separate book. Now, when you die, they don't pull out a separate book. But when you get married, they pull out a separate book. When you get married and you're in the back, there's a marriage certificate that the state signs, and your pastor signs. He has to be an ordained minister. So your marriage is between three entities: you and the person, the religion that you own, and the government, unless you went to the justice of the peace. Okay? So, Ron, I'm glad you said that, but that's why I think that marriage wouldn't have saved Diddy. I think marriage would have exponentially increased what Diddy was doing. And I think that was the whole strategy for J-Lo.
If it got bigger than what we done heard so far, that's what I'm saying. Like the type of female that he would have to have been married to, like.
But any woman who would have been married to Puffy wanted that lifestyle too.
Mm-hmm.
The party started off innocent. So the parties didn't get that way. The parties didn't get that way until later on. So I can see Puffy being able to have a party. The wife shows up, shake hands, kiss babies. The wife goes home. So one of the things y'all got to understand is get out of your traditional mindset when you're thinking about marriage and look at what Dr. Umar is saying. What Dr. Umar is saying is that if Puffy would have done it to cover his tracks, Rhonda, he wouldn't have gotten caught. And he's trying to tell you what white people do. Right? He's trying to tell you what white people do. But I look at a lot of stuff, Dr. Umar. I never see Dr. Umar talking to white people, so how does he know?
Well, how will you know he's talking to them in the background?
That's my point. He Pan-Africanism, right? He Pan-Africanism.
Which is okay.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Umar is married. Why is Dr. Umar married?
Hopefully he ain't out here fondling those people. And they
Ron, let me tell you this. We don't know what people's alter ego is.
We don't know.
We don't know what people's alter ego is. If you're going to get married, guys, you better let people know what your alter ego is. You better let people know what your addiction is. You better let people know what your vice is. Right? Because otherwise, the moment you get married to the person, Rhonda, you're an accomplice. Good luck, Rhonda. Good luck, right? Good luck trying to tell somebody, yeah, I'm married to Jeff, but I don't know he drank bourbon like that. Really, it's right back there.
But that didn't come in the house. That won't in the house on our wedding night. Where it come from?
It don't matter, right?
They over here doing lines and stuff. Like, when that happen?
No, hey, that ain't happening over here.
But those are vices, though, right? Those are vices. But I'm just saying, like, it's just, and life shifts, life changes, people change. Like, certain things become more prominent.
But everybody who out there listening, marriage is an amplifier. Whatever Diddy was doing when he was single, when he get married, at his level, it's going to magnify. And everybody who knew they had a stereo system in their car, what make it get louder? You got to get the amplifier. You got to get that Alpine. You got to get that Pioneer, right? So that's what I'm saying to you, Rhonda, is that I think Dr. Umar is talking to people that, look, if you're going to do this criminal lifestyle, allegedly, get you a wife who can help cover it so that when people say, oh, there's no way he's doing that, he's married.
But it's also a reminder, too, that there are, even though there's a set of rules, there's still a set of rules if you are of a different race, aka Black. That's what it seems like in the Black community, that could be and is a real thing. And so, so it's just what it is. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. So I can see him saying that this is what white people do. We ain't see Weinstein with no walker until he got up in prison. Like, whatever happens to you, Weinstein
got married either. But that's the whole perspective.
If he's a doggone monster.
Right? But here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal.
He didn't have to get married. He was good as long as he had somebody on his arm that was.
But guess what? But as long as you got the politicians, guys, Diddy didn't have to get married. He made enough money where he could buy politicians. And the reason Diddy, they took so long to do it is collateral damage. And one of the things I want y'all to see is me and Rhonda And even when TLC and Big J was on the podcast, I talked about marriage being a business contract. And what happens is Dr. Umar said something. The one thing I do agree with him on is Puffy should have gotten married from a business perspective to say, this is what your role is. This is all surface stuff. Here's what I'm going to pay you. Don't question what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. What woman is built like that to have that?
You'll be surprised, Ron, because in this social media age.
Well, now, yeah, but in the 90s, when we were getting it in,
but
in every club setting.
I don't know. I was not getting it in whatever she mean by that.
Okay. The way we listen to music.
Yes, I did listen to music, but I don't know what she's talking about.
Yes, you do, but that's okay.
But guys, that's why I think J-Lo, and if that gun charge wouldn't have happened with Diddy, I think J-Lo was going to be, and I hate to use this word, but I'm not tying anything to anybody. I don't want nobody to come at me telling me to cease and desist. I think J-Lo was going to be the Beyonce to Puffy. And that's why Puffy never recovered, because I think J-Lo had agreed to saying, hey, look, I'm just Jimmy from the block.
Didn't she come back?
Mm-mm.
She never came back?
Never came back. Never came back officially.
Yeah.
Never came back officially, guys.
I mean, if you didn't
and I think J-Lo,
that's more than
I think J-Lo was going to be that beard, right? Because guys, if you got that lifestyle, you need a beard. You need somebody who's gonna cover for you. Now that person gonna cost you just as much money as the thing you trying to hide. And so I think that, and let me tell you this, Ron. I think when Kim Porter died, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose.
Well, for one, it was so suspect. I mean, I remember that, and I'm like, that's so odd. But I also felt the same way about Biggie. When he, like, it was just surreal. It's just like, oh wow, all the craziness that was going on with that. But that Kim Porter death was something. Now, like, people can say what they want. I know it's a lot of opinions about that out there, but that was such a that was just a sad situation. That was a sad situation.
But guess what though? Guess what, guys? And they just dropped that memoir. I have not had a chance to read it. In her words, I think that's the name of it.
Plus, they say it's not fake.
They say it's not fake, but some people came out and said that it is fake. We don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that the number one thing, when she died, because people in the 90s who was rocking with Diddy,
friend who died before she did, like all that stuff is suspect.
When we rocked with Diddy back in the 90s, guys,
what
Kim Porter was Kim Porter. Take that. Kim Porter was the person we associated him with. So when she died, it really affected the community that grew up with Puffy. And so I think when I hear Dr. Umar using marriage in that way, what I'm trying to let everybody know is I may not agree with what he said. I may not agree with what he said, but the way he's talking about using marriage from a cover-up perspective, that doesn't mean their marriage is any less than if you believe your marriage is of God. Can we say that, Wayne?
I mean, you said it.
But if my marriage is rooted in traditional religion, I can't judge his marriage if it's rooted in covering something up.
Well, look, we all know people walk around here saying, "Oh, God put us together." No, he didn't. But okay, this is what we gonna tell each other. Okay, we toxic, but God put us together. Okay, that sounds so right, right? And so, and don't get me wrong, you have your ups and downs, ebbs and flows in marriages and stuff like that. But yeah, no, you're not supposed to judge if you're following a certain holy Bible. Like that's one of the things, judge not lest ye be judged, right? Like that's what it says. But it also says what God has put together, let no man put asunder. Well, everybody is asunder. Because
everybody else is asunder.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you, like, it's you don't know. I think to save relationships and all that stuff, I think people will go through certain things. They may try different stuff to try to keep the marriage together because we have this image to uphold, and you know, and ain't nothing like your dirty laundry being aired out, where you had thought you had projected this wholesome marriage and everybody should follow what we do, and it's holy hell in the house. And so, you know, it's, you know, I just I'm just trying to understand why marriage has to be put at on such a pedestal, for a number of reasons. When, in all actuality, for a lot of people, it just doesn't make sense for them to be married, let alone together.
And
So,
and and it's interesting, guys, that Rhonda just said that, because I think what the reason for this podcast, guys, is to have a discussion so that you can spark a discussion amongst the people who you're around, your closest friends, your inner circle. But I think right now, the judge saw Diddy's family and his mama in the courtroom when she denied bail. They showed up at the second bail hearing and they still denied him bail. Rhonda, do you think having a wife there would have changed that?
no.
And what I want y'all to understand,
I think what Dr. Umar was trying to imply was it wouldn't have gotten to that point.
it wouldn't have gotten to this point, guys.
So that's
And
why I say
yes,
that to that, because I'm like, and I just don't. I think when the heat and the pressure get put on you, you would dime somebody out real quick. If it
but
means
guess
I
what?
don't have to go to jail. So I think that's what he was implying, which is why I'm like, oh, here we go again. Women always got to prop some jacked up man up.
Okay. Allegedly jacked up man. Okay.
No, I'm just saying in general, right? You know, and so like here we go again. More importantly, let it be a black woman. Prop your tail up.
But guys, I think that what Dr. Umar was saying is that Diddy would have been out free doing his thing. And maybe if I'm wrong, y'all get in the comment section, let me know. I got the impression that Diddy was saying, if you're gonna do it, get married. Don't stop doing it because you're getting married. Get married so that marriage can allow it to happen. Now I'm gonna tell y'all like this. What does Ray always say in the previous podcast? Ain't nobody out here more single than a married man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when I
Where's
saw
the
this
lie?
Dr. Umar video, I'm like, oh my God. Right? Because basically what he's saying is find a woman who will rock with you because she's fine with the lifestyle she's getting, but you can have this life. And then when you get caught, there's gonna be somebody saying, I never saw it. All the assets gonna be in her name. So there ain't nothing to take. There ain't nothing to seize. You could tell it was like, all right, if you're gonna live that life,
Yeah, it's a
get you
whole
somebody.
system to this thing.
It's a
system.
whole system,
Let's
guys.
plug into it.
And that's why I don't want you guys to. This is what I'm saying to you guys. Now, I ain't gonna lie, full disclosure, all the white people I know that have talked about marriage, I ain't never heard them say that their marriage was like that. I ain't never heard them say it. Now, that's not to absolve white people or anything
Yes,
like
it
that.
is.
I'm just telling you, I ain't never talked to one, right? Every white person I know
Maybe
that's
you
in a
ain't asked the
marriage.
right question.
Well, I ain't asked the right questions, but they give me the impression they're in a traditional marriage, is what I'm saying. They're
Which
in a
makes it even
tradition.
worse. We didn't have that trad wife. We already know that's worse.
And not true. Yeah, I hate when she had Five Guys because when she got the Five Guys, she turned up. But my point to you guys is the reason why I'm having this podcast is I think there's some merit to what he's saying. I just don't agree with what he's saying. I just don't agree with what he's saying because I think when you knowingly bring somebody else in, even though you're married, the feds have a way of breaking down everything. The feds have a way of breaking down everything. Honestly, guys, nobody's talking about this, but part of me, and this is just Jeff talking exploratory in an exploratory fashion, was Cassie squeezed by the feds to get Diddy? Or did Cassie willingly go to Diddy? I mean, willingly go to the feds to be who they were going to use to get him? Because guess what, guys?
Nudging of her husband, I think so.
With the nudging of her
I don't think
husband,
she would have went on her own.
and what the husband don't understand is even if Diddy get locked up, she's not gonna love you more because Diddy got locked up.
Yeah.
And guys, here's what happens. You want to get rid of the guys that your significant other than been with, it don't mean she gonna love you more. I'm seeing all these Instagram reels, the running jokes that the guy comes in and tells his wife or his current girlfriend that his ex died. And he crying.
Mm-hmm. You want to go with her? You want to go with her? Crying for?
Snapping nuts. They snapping nuts.
What you crying for?
Guys, just because they got with you don't mean they stop loving the person less. Okay? And that's why you can only focus on being the best version of yourself. Because I think right now, and here's the sad part, guys, and why I'm not a fan of Cassie's husband. Cassie's husband is going to have to. I mean, Cassie going to have to get on that stand and relive all the trauma, but her husband is not going to have to. Cassie going to have to relive all of this trauma when it comes time, unless Diddy please, right? Unless Diddy please, or the other husband. But she gonna have to. She gonna have to get on that stand. But I don't think that the husband cares. And this is my opinion. It's not. This is alleged. Why would you put her through that again after she signed a settlement, signed NDAs, and all this kind of stuff? Just because you get rid of Diddy, bruh, you can't provide that lifestyle for her. You can't provide
any level, on any
level.
Mm-hmm.
Any level. And if Diddy is killed, or if Diddy's spending the rest of his life in jail,
except for not hitting her, and except for not being like that part.
Yeah, absolutely.
But money talks. Part. Yeah, I was about to say, money talks.
I ain't been to no Met Gala. I've been to the Met, but I ain't been to no Met Gala.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the Beverly Hilton, but I ain't been on the red carpet at the Beverly Hilton,
mm-hmm.
right? My point to you is, there's a different life. I tell people now, after reading that indictment, Diddy would have came to my party and left in 30 seconds. What kind of lame ish is this? Like, all Diddy showed me, Rhonda, was what I thought I was doing. Man, you ain't about that life. You ain't about that life. Diddy would have left my party in 30 seconds. So, Rhonda, what do you think from a standpoint of before we get ready to get out here, what do you think Cassie is going through? What would be something you would say to Cassie right now?
I mean, I don't know if I would have too much to say to her. I mean, I feel like any woman who has been in because I don't know what it feels like to be trafficked. Like, I can't relate to that.
Allegedly.
Okay, hold up. Okay, so yeah, allegedly.
YouTube purposes, guy.
And like, but that stuff was in the indictment, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
It's in the indictment, but we innocent until proven guilty.
So, okay. Okay. So I could only go by like.
Rhonda done changed for the podcast, y'all. I just want to let y'all know. Go ahead.
We real people having real conversations now. We censored. I need to know that. So
sensitive. And you still ain't gonna change what you say.
But no, I can only imagine what she's going through, but I can't be like, ooh, I understand. For someone to whatever was shown on this outdated video, I mean, out of the statute of limitations video, being kicked and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, other than saying, I'm sorry that happened to you, I hate it. But then it's like, if you saw him do this alleged stuff to Kim Porter, then it's like, ooh, how much empathy can I really have for you? I hate that you went through that. But it's almost like how you have to make a decision if you were abused as a little kid. Are you going to be the abuser, or are you going to do something different?
Yep.
And I think when you throw in that I want to be a star, or I want to be whatever, then I think you make different choices. And because it's just what it is. I don't think it's right, but it's kind of hard to have both empathy and sympathy for her.
Because guess what, guys? Anybody Diddy put on, they became a star. Now, I ain't going to say you stayed a star, but you became a star. Now, Rhonda, the reason I asked you that question is because I want to go back to her husband. Now, Dr. Umar, what Dr. Umar was saying, Cassie's husband did it. Cassie's husband married her because now he saw what Diddy did, and what he's doing now is using a legal system because he's the husband. If he wasn't the husband, he would have no leverage. He would have no leverage on being able to reopen all this stuff.
But I also think that guys can recognize women that they can abuse on certain levels, right? And once people know your story, who better than a trainer that's going to know all your intimate stuff that you battle with, right? So I don't see him as being no less.
Well, Ron, let me tell you this. Let me tell you why I'm not a fan of him. And that's why I'm tying it to what Dr. Umar was saying. She came to you because she wanted to escape that life, not because she wanted to relive it.
Nor be in the spotlight.
Yeah, she did not want. She walked away. She walked away. But guys, this is why it's important who you choose as a spouse. Because I can look. Let me tell y'all this, man. I don't know what Cassie saw. I know what's in the indictment. I don't know what she saw. I don't know what she was complicit with. I don't know what she fought against. But here's what I do know. When Diddy paid her that money, I know she experienced something negative. right? I know she experienced something negative that
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want to have get out. I don't know what the specifics are. But the husband now being the number one person motivating her to go after him. I just don't see why a man would make her relive that trauma after Diddy settled up civilly. Okay? Because clearly I think she's the person who's victim number one in the indictment. When you look at all the details, it lines up with her. I'm just saying, they haven't announced it, but I think it's gonna end up being her. Guys, this is what Dr. Umar is saying. Cassie came to her husband now because she wanted to get away from that life. She wanted to start over. She wanted a normal life. The husband at the time was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. But he's the main one pushing her to do this. Now, I get that the husband hates Diddy. Every man hates their girl's exes, right? But if you gonna help her relive some trauma, when you reading this stuff, and now you got, what, it was another 100 people that came and sued him today?
Oh no, I hadn't heard.
No, it was another 100 people that came and sued him today civilly. And now you're gonna have this stuff snowball. But I think what y'all gotta understand is Diddy made for this thing, man. Diddy made for this thing. But I'm concerned about Cassie's husband because I think what Dr. Umar was seeing was what Dr. Umar was saying, it applies to Cassie's husband. Cassie's husband is driving this. And that's who's pushing her. Why? Because he wants to be relevant. Cassie had gone basically into hiding, if you will. She had stopped this life of being known. And now she's having to relive this every day. Every day Diddy's in the news. You girl, you wife.
Well, didn't she come out the day that he got arrested?
Yeah, she made a statement.
No, I'm talking
and
about
she came outside.
physically out. Yeah,
She
like
came outside.
Physically came out.
She came outside, right? And what I'm trying to tell y'all is, before all this stuff happened, before Diddy got arrested and all of this, Cassie had gone to live a quiet life, have some kids, that traditional life. Well, guess what, guys? The trailer says, nah, we got to leverage this thing. And that's what Dr. Umar is saying. Your marriage is now, allegedly, right? Your marriage is now a business to get Diddy. And I think the number one thing that's happening, I think the husband is so mad that nobody's talking about him, that he wants to be known so bad. But she got with you because she wanted a quiet life, not because she wanted to go through this. Again, Ryan, and that's why I asked you, what do you think about Cassie in this situation?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of torn. Just like I feel for her for what she went through, but I think for me, when she allegedly said that she saw him do certain things to Kim Porter, I think that kind of like, okay, girl, yeah, like, well, it's no different than the people who they said went to the freak offs. You saw all this stuff happen and all of this and all of that. Yeah, you're complicit too. Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be the hardest part, guys. And I think Diddy wants his day in court because all these people, now he can cross-examine them. And let me tell you, I don't see nobody looking like they were at that party by force. Now, what happened when you get there, that's a completely different story. I'm not there. And now they could have to explain that. But if you had a drug problem before you came to the Diddy party and they still got evidence you got a drug problem now, guys, I think Diddy is in a position right now. If he going to jail for the rest of his life, all these witnesses and and the victims they come up with, their reputation is going to be tarnished too. And so when I see Dr. Umar talking about marriage, I just don't see how. And again, the way I look at marriage, traditionally, religiously, you're going to literally bring somebody in to marry you so that they can hide your transgression. That's a different one for me, right there.
For the right price, yes, that's exactly. But how is that not a regular marriage? Right? It's no different than when you determine your roles in marriage. Okay, if the woman's supposed to be the stay-at-home wife or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like then there's parameters on that. You get an allowance, you get a certain amount, a certain type of car, like all that. I think all of that can be snowballed on a lower level, like on a regular
level. But what I want to do a podcast while all marriages should only be between the two people in it. No religion, no government. Right? That way when you leave,
then it won't be no marriage.
Well, yes, it will, but it'd be civil. Remember, when gay people couldn't get married, they weren't allowed to have civil unions. It was just between those two. If you went to court to try to break that thing up, it was what y'all agreed upon up front. Because you weren't recognized by the state, there was nothing to take.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a civil union and everybody wrote up their prenuptial agreements and everything was between you, marriages would be more fulfilling, marriages would be more successful. But the government being involved and religion being involved is what's robbing marriage. And so I ain't lie. What I will agree with Dr. Umar is I agree with him looking at it from a business perspective. I don't agree with him using it in the Diddy perspective, because if Diddy committed crimes, I don't want to bring somebody else with me. Right? Marriage ain't so you can get somebody to commit crimes with you.
Well, but I mean,
Allegedly.
but it is though. Like, you cover some stuff up.
Look, all I can think about is Fetty Wap, Trump Queen.
Mm-hmm.
I be in the kitchen cooking pies with my baby.
Yeah.
I get high with my baby.
Yeah.
Right? But guys, that's the whole perspective, right? So, guys, that's our point with it, right? I wanted to play all that Dr. Umar thing. What's the closing thought as we get ready to get out of here?
Man, don't get married. Don't get married. Don't get or get married, but keep it on the up and up. I don't know, but yeah, but I'm just over marriage being put up here because it no.
Guys, I like what Rhonda said, because I'm going to piggyback off of that. Your marriage needs to be unique to you. But don't elevate yourself because you think you're married. Dr. Umar literally just told you that Diddy could have hid his crimes, right? So your marriage does not mean you got elevated. No matter what religion tells you, no matter what government tells you, your marriage doesn't mean you got elevated. But don't use marriage to cover up crimes. Use marriage to advance goals. That's the number one thing, guys. That's my takeaway from it. And y'all know what it is, man. It's Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the real cigar Jeff. Y'all do me a favor. Get below in the description. Support the channel. Get the merch. Follow us on the socials, man. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Is Jeff and Rhonda crazy, or are they on to something? Y'all get down in them comments. Let us know what y'all think about the Diddy situation. If he would have been married, would it have helped or not, man? I got to thank my resident legal and psychological and relationship expert. Let her remind y'all who she is and where y'all can find her on the socials.
I'm none of those things, but you can find me on Instagram at RMBLMBT. I'm just gonna keep it real. It's just what it is.
And I appreciate y'all tuning in again. Man, rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. Rest in peace to John Amos, man. We got the McDowell stuff on tonight, man. Rest in peace, rest in power, whatever y'all say, man. Hate to see legends go, but man, we want to honor him and make sure on this podcast, y'all know, man, we keeping it. We keeping it a buck, keeping it 100, man. And until next time, we go holler.